The slow collapsing reason the ground under your own house is hiding a countdown from you, and in 2012, in a quiet Louisiana bayou, it opened wide enough to swallow a forest whole in a single night. Full-grown cypress trees, hundreds of years old, gone in under a minute. That was 14 years ago. It's still growing right now. You've probably never thought about what's underneath the town you live in. Nobody does until it isn't there anymore. Across the Gulf Coast, buried thousands of feet down, sit massive underground salt domes, ancient deposits left behind by seas that dried up 175 million years ago. Companies drill into them, pump out brine, and leave behind hollow caverns big enough to park a skyscraper inside. For decades, that was fine. Then, on August 3, 2012, near a tiny community called Bayou Corne, one of those hollow caverns gave out. And the ground above it simply stopped holding itself up. Residents heard it before they saw it, a low groan, then bubbling. Within hours, a patch of swampland the size of a football field folded in on itself and vanished. Trees didn't fall over. They dropped straight down, disappearing into black water like they'd been unplugged from the earth. By the next morning, it had doubled. Crude oil and natural gas started rising to the surface, seeping up through cracks that hadn't existed the day before. 250 people were told to leave their homes immediately. Most never moved back in. What opened that day wasn't a sinkhole in the way you're picturing, a tidy round hole. It was a slow-motion swallowing, spreading outward day after day, worse each week. Within a year, it had grown past 37 acres. Scientists thought it would stabilize. It didn't. Here's the part that should unsettle you. Sinkholes are supposed to stop. A cavity collapses, the debris fills the space, pressure equalizes, and the ground settles into its new shape. That's how it works almost everywhere else on Earth. Bayou Corne broke that rule. 14 years later, monitoring crews are still out there, still recording movement. The floor of the sinkhole keeps dropping. The edges keep calving away in chunks, sometimes without warning, sometimes while equipment is sitting right there measuring it. Nobody predicted that. Nobody can fully explain why. So what actually happened underground? When that salt cavern failed, it didn't collapse cleanly. It collapsed sideways, buckling into the layer of rock next to it instead of caving straight down. That sideways failure fractured the surrounding stone into a spiderweb of new cracks scientists never mapped, because nobody knew they needed to. Those cracks connect to older oil and gas deposits trapped in the same salt formation. That's why the gas keeps rising. It isn't leftover bubbles working their way out. It's a live connection between the surface and a reservoir that's still under pressure, still finding new paths upward through rock that keeps shifting. Every time the ground settles a little more, it opens another channel. Every channel lets more gas through. And every bit of gas that escapes leaves behind more empty space for the ground to fall into. It feeds itself. Engineers call it a self-propagating failure, a technical way of saying it doesn't need any outside cause to keep getting worse. It's not reacting to weather or rain or nearby drilling anymore. It's just eating. Remember what's sitting underneath so many Gulf Coast towns. Bayou Corne wasn't sitting on some rare geological freak accident. There are more than 300 salt domes just like it scattered across Texas and Louisiana, dozens of them already hollowed out by decades of drilling, many directly beneath neighborhoods, schools, highways. Most residents living above them have no idea the caverns exist, because the drilling happened decades before they moved in, sealed and left behind, technically stable, technically monitored, until one isn't. The company responsible for Bayou Corne insisted their cavern was safe right up until the morning the trees started disappearing. Regulators had approved it. Inspectors had signed off on it. That's the part that should sit with you longest. Every safety check that existed said this couldn't happen. It happened anyway. And the geological survey teams who study it now admit on record that they still can't say for certain when it will stop moving, or if it ever fully will. Somewhere beneath a town you've driven through, maybe the one you live in right now, there could be a cavern nobody has checked in 30 years. No agency tracks all of them. No law requires it. The ground has held so far. But so did the ground at Bayou Corne, right up until the moment it didn't, and nobody there got more than a few hours warning before their trees went under. So the question isn't whether another one exists. It's whether anyone would even know before it started.